Hi, my name is Colton Wyndham, and this is my presentation for CFI Ground. As you know, we fly aircraft that are pretty simple, and we fly in some pretty treacherous conditions. And being that they're simple, they don't provide a lot of protection from exposure to these elements that we fly in, such as high altitude and colder conditions. We do have a certain amount of climate control in the aircraft that we fly, specifically a heater system. Fortunately for us, it's relatively simple to operate, very few components, and it doesn't have a lot to go wrong. So with some understanding of the operation, components, and hazards, you'll be able to use this system efficiently and for your benefit. The R22 heater system is very simple. It starts here on the left side of the aircraft. This intake vent has obviously got a duct here. Through the back of that, it's then ducted underneath the engine into a chamber here where around the outside of the exhaust manifold the air is heated up, not mixed, and it remains separate from the exhaust. After spending some time in there, the air is drawn from that through another duct and into the back of the cabin here via a motor. The controls for the motor are located here inside the aircraft, right in front of the right seat, pilot seat, with a control panel here. You have pull on, push off, heater vent, and controls for the heater motor on and off right here. Attached to the heater system, and for good reason, is our carbon monoxide warning light up here on this panel here. If you flip the switch on here, you can see it start up here, carbon monoxide. That will give you warning if there is exceeding levels of carbon monoxide. Another part of the climate control system in the R22, which is important to remember for emergency procedures and comfort, is that we have a cabin vent, just a fresh air vent. The control for that is right here. Pull on, push off, and it actuates a vent right in the nose of the helicopter. Here, I'll give you a look here. Now that we're a little bit more familiar with the components of the R22 heater system, let's go a little bit more into the operations and the reasons for use. One of the obvious reasons for using it is cold weather. Obviously, snow, winter months, any of that stuff is going to be really cold, and because we don't have an insulated aircraft, it's going to get really cold inside. So cold weather is one of them. Another might be high altitude. On average, temperature will decrease about 2 degrees per 1,000 feet, and you can imagine that at high altitude and high elevations, that's going to add up and become really cold. So when we're up there, the mountains, or doing some higher altitude procedures, you might need to flip on the cabin heat. One of the less obvious reasons is defrosting. During the summer months when you're training, you're going to constantly be wondering why it's so hot in there. But as soon as the winter months come, you're going to encounter some serious bubble fogging issues. And when you're hover taxiing out to the runway and you're with an instructor and it's cold outside, it's going to fog up pretty quickly. And when you're trying to see traffic and the wind indicators, and your bubble's so fogged up that you can't see outside, that could be a serious issue and a serious hazard. So you might need to flip on the cabin heat. Normally we might just open the cabin vent if we're in forward flight. That oncoming air will defog the bubble, but when you're hovering at the cone, you just don't have that option. The cabin heat's a great tool for that. Now that we've gone over the operations of the R22 cabin heat system, let's go over some of the hazards associated with it. One of the first hazards associated with it comes from the fact that the R22 heater system is directly attached to the R22 exhaust system. In the case that a crack appears in that system, we may receive exhaust gases and carbon dioxide and have it drawn directly into the cabin. This would quickly turn into carbon monoxide and illuminate the carbon monoxide warning light. If that situation occurs, it's advised that you immediately turn off the cabin heat system, the cabin heat vent, open the cabin fresh air vent, and if possible, transition to forward flight, and if not possible, set the helicopter down. So, first hazard, carbon monoxide poisoning. Another thing to worry about when you have the cabin heat system running is the situation with fire in flight. Being that the cabin heat system is drawing air directly from the engine area and putting it in the cabin, leads us to have to worry about the fact that if there were fire or smoke in that area, it would be drawing it and putting it directly in the cabin and putting us in danger. In this situation, you would again be advised to turn off the cabin heat motor, close the vent, and perform the emergency procedure. Well, today we've gone over the components, the use, and some of the hazards associated with the R22 heater system. Now that you are familiar with these components, operation hazards, you can become a better pilot and use this to fly safer and fly in more comfort. Fly safe.